Okay, just going to start from scratch here and show you how to import multi-track WAV files that were recorded with an X32 using the XLive card. So I bring my SD card into the computer and I get all my WAV files off of there. And this particular track here, or this session here, has 13 files. It's probably a 2.5 hour recording. You can see that it splits it up in 4 gig increments here, and it numbers them sequentially starting at 1 through 9, and then after it gets to 9 it will start over with the alphabet and go ABC. So this is the beginning of the project, and then this is the last file of the project. So I'm going to bring the first 9 in here to my DAW, drop them in there onto a single track, and then I'll bring in A, B, and C. Since I know that that came after 9, I'm going to drag those right over here. And then we've got, you can see I've got all 32 channels here in this multi-track wave. Okay, now if I hit play right now, it's just going to be a mix of the first 2 tracks. So what we need to do is basically treat this track as kind of the, let's see, what do we want to call this? Not master, but basically this is the master track that we're pulling from, but we're going to go out to the master left, right. We'll call it multi-track here. And I want to remove the routing on this particular track that goes to the master send. So I'm going to uncheck that. Now if I hit play, you won't hear anything, but you'll see it on the meters here, but nothing's actually making it to the left-right output. So 32 tracks, 32 channels. So then I can create 32 tracks. I'm just going to do the first 5 just to show you an example to so you see what's going on. All of these are going to the master. So on the first one here, this is going to be track number 1, or channel number 1 in the recording. So if we zoom in here, you can see this one, this top line, that's the first channel. This next line is the second, third, and so on. So this here is going to, we want to click on the routing for this track and go to receives, and it's going to receive its signal from the multi-track file, from this file right here, and it's going to receive audio from the multi-channel, or the mono source. Here's our 32 channels from the X30, or from the multi-track file, and we're going to say number 1. So that's going to say that I know that my first track, or my first channel, is my kick. So now I'll be able to hear my kick. And I know that the second track is my snare. And for the routing on that, I want to say this receive is also from the multi-track file, this one here, but only pick up the mono signal from channel number 2. Okay, so now I should have snare and kick. Okay, and then for the routing on this channel, it's also receiving on the multi-track, from the multi-track file, and the source, the audio source, is the mono number 3. Okay, and then you want to do this for all of they're all going to be multi-channel, or from the multi-track, and then the mono source is just going to be sequential, and then you do that for all 32 channels basically. And the best way to do this is to do it once and then save it as a template. So you'd say project template, save project as a template, and then whatever. And then the next time that you load your project, or you're bringing in a new recording, all you have to do is drag all of your WAV files from the X32 or from the the SD card onto this multi-track channel here, and then your routing will already be done for you. That's the basic setup of how this is done. And then to make it a lot more elaborate, you can start once you start mixing on this, you can put in your VSTs and so forth on whichever channel you want it on. Save those all as a template, as part of your template. That way all of your mixing is already done for you. So I've done that already, and I've got a bunch of crazy stuff in mind with buses. This is an example of one of my recordings. So I've got some buses here. I've got all my drums right here, and if we look at the routing for these, you can see that the routing is coming from the multi-track file, which is right here. And you can see if I zoom in, here's my 32 channel file, and the routing is coming from channel number 1. This will be number 2, and so forth. Guitar. And then I've got my various sends so that I can send, like on my vocals over here. One thing that I'll do if I've got some effects, I'll send like all my vocals over to another bus that has some VSTs on it that would affect the entire group. And then to make it a little bit easier, I just sum all that down to another bus. So then you can have your mix already. So, but if you actually look at the track itself, none of these are exploded. These tracks up here don't have anything on them. They're pulling all of their information right from this 32 channel file. So that's what's going on. All of the mixing is done down here. I'm really only using like 16 tracks or whatever, and then the rest of them here are just various USB feeds back from my computer. So basically, that's what this does. You've got one track here that has your multi-channel file on it that is not routed out to your master. And then you've got all your 32 channels or 32 tracks here that are pulling from this multi-track file, but only listening on the specific channel of that multi-track file. Does that make sense? And then put your VSTs on there, save it as a template, and then next thing you do, like let's see here. We'll just save this as a template. Test 1, 2, 3. Okay. Close this guy. Now if I open that project template, test 1, 2, 3, and all my project is already there. The way that I just did that with all the WAV files represented in here already, you don't want to save your template with those in there, or else it will include those as part of the template. So it's going to start looking for those again. Let me save this one more time after I removed the WAV files. And then I'll close this guy, create a new project, or then bring this in. It's got my multi-track file here and all my channels, assuming that all the routing is done. And then all you would have to do is just drop your waves right here, and then all your routing is already done. All your mixing, or your routing and your VSTs, and basically if you use the same setup frequently, like for rehearsals we always have the exact same setup, so I can have a project template for like a recording setup where I know that these are the levels for everything when we record, basically, or when we rehearse. that makes mixing down practice recordings super quick. I just got to drop these in here, and then just usually what I'll do is I'll create regions for the song. Then when I go to mix them down, I can just do selected regions and say select these 3 songs and render them out. But basically that's how you do multi-track waves without exploding, and it works great.